The pen is in my hand. The paper smells like ink and desperation. Across the table, Chloe is smiling that smile, the one she always uses when she wants something from me. Her pinky nail taps against her coffee cup in that nervous rhythm I used to find endearing. Now I know it's the beat of a predator circling its prey. Just sign it, babe. One signature and your whole life changes. My hand is shaking. The ink from the pen is bleeding onto the page. I remember this moment with brutal clarity. I remember the cold dread that slithered down my spine when I signed my name 6 years ago. I remember the phone call 3 months later, the one where the developer's number had been disconnected. I remember Chloe showing up at my studio apartment with a bottle of cheap wine and a crocodile tear apology, saying she had no idea, saying she lost money too, saying we would get through it together. She didn't lose a dime. She bought the penthouse 2 weeks after I went bankrupt. She moved in with the commission she earned off my life savings. And while I was eating ramen and dodging debt collectors, she was posting photos of her skyline view with the caption "Dreams do come true." The memory is so vivid I can taste the bile rising in my throat. My hand clenches so hard the pen bites into my palm. I can feel the ghost of that devastation wrapped around my ribs, squeezing. The sleepless nights. The calls to my mother, lying to her about how well I was doing while she was dying in a hospital bed I couldn't afford to keep her in. The moment I stood in the cemetery, watching her casket lower into the ground, knowing I could have given her better care if I hadn't been so gullible, if I hadn't trusted Chloe. And now I'm back, sitting in the same sterile conference room, staring at the same glossy contract, watching the same wolf in sheep's clothing circle my money like it's already hers. Babe, Chloe tilts her head. You're spacing out. Are you okay? I want to scream. I want to flip the table. I want to wrap my fingers around her throat and make her understand what she did to me. But I swallow it down. I press my nails into my palm until the pain grounds me. I'm not the same woman I was 6 years ago. I'm not the same woman I was 10 minutes ago. I'm just thinking, I say, and my voice sounds foreign to my own ears. Steady, controlled. The voice of someone who has already been through hell and decided to build a vacation home there. Chloe leans forward. Her blouse dips just enough to be distracting. She's perfected the art of weaponizing her vulnerability. Think faster. Mr. Sterling is waiting in the next room. He has other investors interested in this property. If you don't commit now, you'll lose your slot. Translation: if you don't give me your money now, I can't take my cut before the whole thing implodes. I'd like to meet him first, I say. Before I put my grandmother's legacy on the line, I want to look him in the eye. Chloe blinks. That threw her. In the original timeline, I signed without meeting anyone. I trusted her completely. But now, seeing her scramble for an excuse, I feel the first real flicker of satisfaction since I opened my eyes this morning. Of course, she says, recovering with practiced grace. I'll bring him in. But just remember, you only get one chance to make a good impression. If you come across as hesitant, he might withdraw the offer entirely. She stands and glides to the door. Her heels click against the floor in a rhythm that used to soothe me. Now it sounds like a countdown. I have maybe 30 seconds before she returns with the man who destroyed my life. I need to act fast. I slide my phone out of my pocket. My fingers fly across the screen. I pull up the county records I memorized after months of obsessing over every detail of my downfall. The land isn't just worthless. It's illegal. Building on it is a felony. The developer was charged and fled the country 2 years later. I type the information into an email, attach every scrap of evidence I managed to dig up in my previous life, and send it to the state attorney general's office. Then I text an old journalist friend who always smelled something rotten about the Sterling Group. She's going to have a field day with this. The door opens. Chloe re-enters, followed by a man whose face I'll never forget. He's wearing a suit that costs more than my entire previous annual salary. His hair is slicked back. His smile is the kind of smile you see on television commercials for products that will inevitably give you cancer. He extends his hand. Miss Chun, I've heard so much about you. Chloe speaks very highly of your financial acumen. His handshake is limp and clammy. I want to scrub my palm on my jeans, but I resist. I've heard a lot about you too, Mr. Sterling. I make eye contact and hold it. Interesting business model you have. Buy land for pennies, sell it to young women with trust funds, disappear before the paperwork clears. His smile falters. His eyes flick to Chloe, then back to me. I'm not sure I understand what you're implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. I pull out the folder I brought with me, the one I prepared in the 20 minutes I had after waking up and realizing I'd been given a second chance. I open it and slide a document across the table. This is the zoning report from the county. The land you're trying to sell is a protected wetland. No construcción permits. No development. It's a bird sanctuary, Mr. Sterling. The only thing you're allowed to build there is a picnic bench. And even that requires a permit that takes 3 years to obtain. Sterling's face goes gray. His hand twitches toward his pocket. I wonder if he keeps a weapon there. I don't care. I've already won. Chloe laughs, a brittle hollow sound. Babe, what are you doing? These are clearly fake documents. You're embarrassing yourself. Emma, I slide another paper across. This one is a recording of a conversation you had with Mr. Sterling 3 weeks ago. The one where you negotiated your commission. 15% of my investment. 5% for him. You both get a cut while I lose everything. It's a beautiful scheme. Really. I almost admire the audacity. Chloe's face is a mask of frozen horror. She opens her mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. For the first time in our entire friendship, she has nothing to say. No script. No manipulation. Just raw, unfiltered panic. This is insane, she finally manages. You're having some kind of breakdown. You need help. I'm calling your mother. Megan is in the lobby, I say. She's been waiting for me to send her the signal. And I just did. Chloe's eyes widen. Megan is our mutual friend, the one with the law degree and the tendency to document everything. In the previous timeline, she took Chloe's side. She believed the lies. I lost her too. But this time I called her first thing this morning, before the nausea subsided. I told her I had proof of a major fraud. I told her I needed a witness. She's downstairs with her phone recording. This is the moment where everything changes. The moment where I break the cycle and take back control. The conference room door bursts open. 2 officers from the Economic Crimes Division fill the doorway. Megan is behind them, her phone raised, her eyes wide with shock. She looks at the documents spread across the table. She looks at Sterling's ashen face. She looks at Chloe, who has started crying real ugly tears, the kind that don't photograph well. Ms. Chan, one of the officers says, we received your email. We need everyone in this room to stay exactly where they are. Sterling bolts. He lunges for the side door. He doesn't make it. One of the officers tackles him before he takes 3 steps. He hits the ground with a hollow thud, his expensive watch skittering across the floor. Chloe screams. I don't flinch. I just watched up, babe. She sobs, reaching for me. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to help. He threatened me. He made me do it. You have to believe me. I step back. I don't let her touch me. I know every lie that's about to come out of her mouth because I've already heard them. 6 years ago, I heard them from her kitchen floor as she poured me wine and told me she was a victim too. I believed her then. I let her use me twice. First for the money, and second for the emotional comfort of having a friend to suffer with. I'm done being her victim. I know you gave him a list of clients, I say softly. I know you were going to do this to Sarah and Jenny next. I know you had their financial information ready. I know you've done this before, Chloe. To other people. Other friends. I found the papers in your apartment 6 years ago. I just didn't have the courage to admit it until now. She stares at me like I've grown a second head. I never showed you those papers. I never let you in my apartment. I know, I say. But that's what's so beautiful about this moment, isn't it? You don't know what I know. You don't know how long I've been watching. You underestimated me. The officers separate us. They read Sterling his rights. They ask Chloe to accompany them to the station. She's shaking violently, her mascara running down her cheeks in black rivulets. She looks like a victim. She looks like the performance of a lifetime. I wonder how many people will believe her. I don't care. Megan is beside me, her hand on my arm. Mia, what just happened? Who were those people? Why is Chloe crying? I look at my friend. My real friend. The one I lost and mourned and wished I'd been honest with. She tried to steal my money, I say. And I caught her. That's insane. Chloe would never. Megan stops. She looks at the crying woman being let out by police. She looks at the developer handcuffed and shuffling toward the exit. Oh my God. Don't believe her, I say. Don't ever believe her. She's been lying to all of us. She's been lying for years. Megan squeezes my arm. I believe you. I saw her face when they came in. There was no surprise. There was only fear. I close my eyes. The weight of my first life lifts, just a fraction. I didn't save my mother this time. I can't. She's already gone in this timeline too. But I'm not going to let her death be in vain. I'm not going to let Chloe take anything else. That the conference room is empty now. The humming lights are the only sound. My hand is still shaking. The pen is still on the table. I pick it up. I look at the contract one last time. Then I pick up my phone and dial the number I've been dreaming of calling. Mom, my voice cracks. It's me. I just wanted to hear your voice. She's been dead for 3 years. I'm calling her voicemail. I don't care. I leave her the longest message I've ever left, telling her everything. Telling her I'm going to be okay. Telling her I'm going to do better. Telling her I love her. That when I hang up I feel the shift. The room feels different. The air feels lighter. I walk toward the window and look down at the street below. Megan is waiting in the lobby. The police cars are pulling away. Chloe is in the back of one of them, watching the building disappear through the rear window. I meet her eyes. Through the glass, I see her mouth move. She's saying something. Probably pleading. Probably promising. Probably offering me the world in exchange for my silence. That I turn away. I don't owe her anything. Not forgiveness. Not loyalty. Not even hatred. That I owe myself a new life. And I'm already living it. That the car ride to the station is the longest 30 minutes of my life. Megan is driving, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. Her mouth opening and closing like she wants to ask 1,000 questions, but doesn't know where to start. I sit in the passenger seat and watch the city blur past. The buildings look the same as they always did. The coffee shops. The bus stops. The park where Chloe and I used to feed the ducks and pretend we had everything figured out. I want to tell Megan everything. I want to explain that I've lived this day before, that I've felt the exact weight of this betrayal, that I've cried in the shower and screamed into my pillow and wished I'd never met Chloe Sterling. But I can't. She'd think I'm insane. She'd pull the car over and call an ambulance. The cops want you to make a statement, Megan says finally. Her voice is tight. They asked if you'd be willing to testify. I'll testify. The words come out flat. Empty. Like they belong to someone else. I'll do whatever it takes to put her away. Megan glances at me, her brow furrowed. Mia, I'm sorry. I know you two were close. This must be really hard. Hard. That's a funny word. Hard is watching your mother take her last breath. Hard is eating instant noodles while your former best friend posts pictures of her new penthouse. Hard is waking up every morning and remembering every stupid decision that led you to a life you never wanted. This is easy. This is the first easy thing I've done in 6 years. She was never my friend, I say. She was just waiting for the right moment to take everything I had. Megan is quiet for a long moment. Then she reaches over and squeezes my hand. I believe you. And I'm going to be there for you, whatever happens. The police station smells like stale coffee and bad decisions. I've been here before, but in a different life. In the original timeline, I came here to report the fraud. I sat in this same waiting room, clutching a folder of evidence, my eyes swollen from crying. The officer on duty had taken my statement with a bored expression. He'd promised to look into it. He never called back. This time, I'm not a victim. I'm the one holding the cards. I'm the one with the evidence, the recordings, the emails, the undeniable proof that Chloe Sterling has been running this con for years. The detective assigned to my case is a sharp-eyed woman named Park. She's in her 50s, silver-streaked hair pulled back in a no-nonsense bun. She looks at me like she's reading a book she can't put down. Miss Chun, she says, gesturing for me to sit. Your email was remarkably detailed. You had bank account numbers, phone records, even a timeline of the scheme. Most people don't come to us with that level of documentation. I've been watching her for a while. I say carefully. I suspected something was off. I started gathering evidence. And you didn't confront her earlier, you waited until the contract signing. Detective Park's question lands like a needle. She's probing. Testing. She wants to know if I'm hiding something. She wants to know if I'm as innocent as I claim to be. That I wanted to catch her in the act. I say. I wanted her to have no way out. No excuses. No plausible deniability. Park studies me for a moment. Then she nods. Smart. Unusual, but smart. She slides a piece of paper across the table. We found similar patterns in 3 other cases. Women in their late 20s, small inheritances, all encouraged to invest in undeveloped land. All of them lost everything. One of them attempted suicide. I feel the blood drain from my face. I didn't know that. In my previous life, I was so consumed by my own misery that I never looked for others. I never thought to search for the women who came before me. The women who probably sat in the same chair and told the same story and got ignored just like I did. What happened to her, I ask. The one who tried to kill herself. She survived, Detective Park says. But she's still in therapy. She still can't face the idea of trusting anyone. She lost her job, her partner, her entire sense of self-worth. She leans back in her chair. The people who did this to her, they're the ones you helped us catch today. Chloe Sterling and Martin Sterling are connected to a network of at least 6 more investors. We've been trying to build a case against them for 2 years. Your evidence is the final piece we needed. 2 years. They've been investigating Chloe for 2 years, and she's been smiling in my face the entire time. She's been calling me babe and sending me memes and pretending to care about my mother's health. She's been biding her time, waiting for the moment when I'd be vulnerable enough to hand over my inheritance. She's not going to get bail, is she? I asked. Given the severity of the charges and the flight risk, I don't think so. Park slides a business card toward me. But I need you to be careful. Martin Sterling has connections. His network is wider than we initially thought. There are people out there who don't want this case to go to trial. People who might see you as a threat. I take the card. It's warm in my palm. I'm not afraid of them. You should be, Park says. But I understand why you're not. You've already survived something worse. When I leave the station, Megan is waiting outside with a paper cup of coffee. She thrusts it into my hands without a word. I wrap my fingers around the warmth and let the bitter smell wash over me. Are you okay? She asks. You look like you've seen a ghost. I feel like I've seen a ghost, I admit. I feel like I'm living in someone else's body. Someone who actually has control over their life. Megan hugs me. It's the first real physical contact I've had with another person since I woke up this morning. Her arms are solid. Her perfume smells like vanilla and something floral. In the original timeline, I lost her. I pushed her away. I was so ashamed of being duped that I couldn't stand to see the pity in her eyes. She tried to reach out. I ignored every call. She stopped trying after a while, and I told myself I was relieved. Can I stay with you tonight? I asked. I don't think I can go back to my apartment. Of course. She pulls back and looks at me. But why is Chloe going to be released? Did something happen? No. It's just. I swallow. She has a key. She has access. And I don't know if she's done anything to my place. I don't know what she's capable of. Megan's eyes widen. You think she might have planted something or stolen something? I don't answer. The truth is, I don't know. In the previous timeline, Chloe stole everything but my physical belongings. But this time is different. This time I've exposed her. This time she has nothing to lose. Desperate people do desperate things. I've learned that lesson the hard way. We drive to Megan's apartment in silence. Her place is small but cozy. Books stacked on every surface. A cat that regards me with suspicious yellow eyes. She makes tea and hands me a blanket and tells me I can stay as long as I need. I curl up on her couch and stare at the ceiling and try to process everything that's happened in the last 12 hours. My phone buzzes. An unknown number. I hesitate, then answer. Miss Chun. The voice is male. Calm. Professional. My name is Jonathan Hart. I'm Chloe's attorney. I sit up straighter. I don't have anything to say to you. I understand you're upset. I understand you feel betrayed. But I want to offer you an opportunity to resolve this matter privately. Miss Sterling is willing to compensate you generously for your cooperation. She's prepared to offer you a settlement. A substantial one. A settlement. Of course. Chloe wants to buy me off. She wants me to drop the charges and disappear. She probably thinks I'll take the money and run. She probably thinks I'm still the same scared, desperate woman she manipulated for years. Tell Chloe I'm not interested, I say. Tell her I'll see her in court. Miss Chun, I strongly advise you to reconsider. This case will be messy. Your personal history will be examined in detail. Your financial records, your medical history, your relationship with your mother. Everything will be public. Are you prepared for that? My jaw tightens. He's threatening me. He's telling me that if I don't back down, he'll drag my mother's memory through the mud. He'll try to paint me as unstable, untrustworthy. He'll dig up every mistake I've ever made and use it to discredit me. I've been threatened before. I've been scared before. I've curled up in a corner and let people walk all over me before, not this time. Tell your client that I have nothing to hide. I say. Tell her that I'm not afraid of the truth. And tell her that if she or anyone connected to her tries to come after me, I have a recording of every conversation we've ever had, including the one where she admitted to forging my signature on a previous loan application, a crime that carries a penalty of up to 10 years in federal prison. The line goes silent. I wait. I can almost hear Jonathan Hart's brain scrambling to process what I just said. He's probably not used to clients like me. He's probably not used to people who fight back. Miss Chun, he says finally, I'm going to pretend you didn't just say that. But I warn you. No, I cut him off. I warn you. Stay away from me. Stay away from my friends. Stay away from anything that matters to me. Or I will destroy your client's career, her reputation, and her future. I have enough evidence to put her away for the rest of her life. And I will use every single piece of it if I have to. I hang up before he can respond. My hands are shaking. My heart is pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears. But for the first time in both of my lives, I feel powerful. I feel like I'm holding the keys to my own destiny. Megan comes back into the room. She's holding her phone, her face pale. Mia, I just got a text from Jenny. Chloe's calling everyone. She's telling them you had some kind of psychotic break. She's saying you attacked her, that you're unstable, that you need to be hospitalized. I close my eyes. Of course she is. She's already started the smear campaign. She's already working to turn everyone against me. She's trying to isolate me. To make me look like the crazy one. The one who can't be trusted. It's the same playbook she used in the previous timeline. It worked once. She made me look like a liar. She made me look like a bitter ex-friend who couldn't handle her success. But this time, I have receipts. I have recordings. I have an entire folder of evidence that Detective Park has already seen. Send Jenny the recording of the conference room. I tell Megan. The one where Chloe threatens me. The one where she admits to negotiating her commission. Send it to everyone. Sarah. Greg. Anyone who's ever been in Chloe's orbit. Make sure they see exactly who she is. Megan hesitates. Are you sure that's kind of nuclear? No, I say, opening my eyes. Nuclear is what I'll do if she keeps coming after me. This is just the opening salvo. I watch Megan's fingers fly across her phone screen. I imagine the messages popping up on Chloe's friends' phones. I imagine their faces shifting from confusion to shock to disgust. I imagine Chloe's carefully constructed world crumbling around her. It's not enough. It will never be enough. Not after what she did to me. Not after what she did to those other women. The one who tried to end her life. The ones who lost everything and are still trying to rebuild. My phone buzzes again. Another unknown number. I answered. Miss Chun, this is Detective Park. I have some news. Chloe Sterling has been denied bail. She'll be held in custody until her trial. I exhale. A weight I didn't realize I was carrying finally loosens. That's good. That's really good. There's more, Park says. During our search of her apartment, we found a locked safe. Inside were passports. 7 of them. Different names, different photos. All of them belonging to people who look remarkably like her. My blood goes cold. 7 passports. 7 identities. Chloe wasn't just running a real estate scam. She was running a full-scale identity theft operation. She was preparing to disappear. She was planning to vanish with the money and start over somewhere else. She had probably done it before. She had probably left a trail of ruined lives behind her in other cities, other countries. Miss Chun Park's voice cuts through my spiral. Are you still there? I'm here, I manage. I didn't know. I didn't know she was capable of that. Neither did we, Park says. But we do now. And we're very grateful for your help. Without your evidence, she would have slipped through our fingers. She would have disappeared and taken everything with her. I sit back down on the couch. The cat hops into my lap and starts purring. I stroke its fur mechanically. My mind is still racing. 7 passports. 7 identities. 7 lives she was ready to destroy and walk away from. I wonder how many other people she's hurt. I wonder how many other women are out there, struggling to recover from the same devastation I survived. I wonder if any of them will ever get the closure they deserve. I close my eyes. I think about my mother. I think about the voicemail I left her. I think about all the years I wasted being afraid, that I'm not afraid anymore. And that makes me more dangerous than Chloe or her lawyer, or anyone else will ever understand. The news hits the group chat like a bomb. I watch the messages scroll past on Megan's phone. Each one a fresh wound reopening. Jenny is asking if I'm okay. Sarah is saying she always knew something was off about Chloe. Greg, the only man in our tight-knit circle, is threatening to drive to the police station and demand answers. But it's the private messages that sting the most. The ones from people I barely know, asking if the rumors are true, asking if I really had a breakdown, asking if Chloe was really the victim all along. Megan hands me her phone with a grim expression. She's got a lot of people fooled. Even now. I scroll through the messages. There's Chloe's voice, unmistakable, dripping with false concern. I'm so worried about Mia. She's been struggling for months. I tried to help her, but she pushed me away. I don't know what she's capable of anymore. There are screenshots of old texts, carefully curated to make me look erratic. A late-night message I sent after my mother died, rambling about how I felt like I was drowning. A voicemail transcript where I cried and said I didn't know how to go on. Chloe has been collecting evidence of my vulnerability for years. Weapons she could use against me the moment I became a threat. She's good, I say, handing the phone back. I'll give her that. Megan's jaw tightens. She's a monster. How can you be so calm about this? I'm not calm. My heart is racing. My palms are sweating. A part of me wants to curl into a ball and disappear. But I've done that before. I've let Chloe win before. I've let her destroy my reputation, my friendships, my sense of self. I refuse to do it again. Because I know what's coming. I say. And she doesn't. I pull out my own phone and open the folder I've been building since I woke up this morning. It's not just evidence of the real estate scam anymore. It's everything. Screenshots of group chats where Chloe badmouthed other friends. Recordings of her making racist jokes at parties. Emails where she negotiated kickbacks with vendors for her wedding that never happened. A video from a Christmas party 3 years ago where she got drunk and admitted she'd never actually had a job, that she'd been living off other people's money since college. I upload the entire folder to a cloud drive and share the link with every single person in our extended social circle. Then I write a short, brutal message. The truth about Chloe Sterling. I'm not asking you to pick sides. I'm asking you to open your eyes. The reactions are immediate. A tsunami of responses. Disbelief. Horror. Relief. Apologies. Some people are defensive, insisting that Chloe was always nice to them. I don't respond to them. I don't have the energy. I just watch the comments roll in and feel something shift inside me. I'm not the victim anymore. I'm the one exposing the truth. Jesus, Megan breathes, scrolling through her own feed. People are losing their minds. Someone just posted the police report. Chloe's face is all over the news. I glance at Megan's screen. There she is. My former best friend. Her mugshot is worse than I imagined. No makeup. No designer clothes. No practice smile. Just a hollow-eyed woman who looks older than her 32 years. The caption reads, "Real estate fraud suspect detained. Alleged ties to multi-state identity theft ring." Multi-state. Detective Park didn't mention that. The investigation is bigger than I thought. Bigger than I ever imagined. My phone rings. The caller ID reads unknown. I almost don't answer. But something tells me I need to Ms. Chun. It's Jonathan Hart again. His voice is different this time. Softer. Almost pleading. I'm calling to ask if we can meet. Just you and me. No lawyers. No recordings. I think there's something you need to see. I'm not meeting you anywhere. Say whatever you need to say over the phone. I can't, he says. It's not safe. There are people watching her apartment. Watching your apartment. If I say this over the phone, they'll know. They'll come after you. My blood turns to ice. Who's watching? I can't tell you. Not like this. There's a pause. A crack in his professional demeanor. Please. Just give me 15 minutes. I'll come to you. Anywhere you want. Public place. Lots of people. I promise I'm not a threat. Think about it. Every instinct tells me to say no. To hang up and block his number. But I've been burned by trusting Chloe. I've been burned by trusting people who seemed harmless. Maybe it's time to trust my gut instead of my fear. The coffee shop on 5th and Main, I say. Half an hour. You come alone. And you don't bring anyone. If I see another person with you, I'm walking out. I'll be there. I hang up. Megan is staring at me like I've lost my mind. What are you doing? He's her lawyer. He's the enemy. Maybe I say. Or maybe he's the one person who knows the whole truth. And maybe I need to hear it before Chloe's network comes for me. Megan doesn't argue. She's always been the pragmatist. She's always known when to push and when to step back. She grabs her keys and her jacket. I'm driving you. And I'm not leaving your side. The coffee shop is quiet when we arrive. Late afternoon lull. A few students hunched over laptops. A couple arguing in the corner about something I can't hear. I choose a table near the window, where I can see the street. Megan sits next to me, her body tense, her eyes scanning every face that walks through the door. Jonathan Hart walks in at exactly the half-hour mark. He's younger than I expected. Maybe early 40s. Expensive suit, but rumpled, like he's been wearing it for 3 days. Dark circles under his eyes. He looks like a man who hasn't slept since the police raid. He slides into the chair across from me. He doesn't order anything. He just sits there for a moment, staring at the tabletop like he's working up the courage to speak. I'm sorry, he says finally. I should have told you earlier. I should have warned you. Warned me about what? He reaches into his jacket. Megan flinches. He pulls out a manila envelope and slides it across the table. Open it. But keep your voice down. And don't let anyone see what's inside. I open the envelope. Inside are photographs. Photographs of Chloe with a group of men I've never seen. Men in expensive suits. Men with hard eyes and harder faces. In one photo, she's standing next to a man I recognize from the news. A financier who was convicted of money laundering 2 years ago. In another, she's at a party with the son of a senator. In a third, she's handing an envelope to someone whose face is obscured. Who are these people? I asked. At her partners, Jonathan says. Not the real estate partners. The real partners. The ones who financed her lifestyle. The ones who gave her the resources to run her schemes. They're connected. Very connected. Some of them are in prison. Some of them are in hiding. But most of them are still out there. And they know you're the one who brought her down. I feel the weight of his words settle on my chest. Are you saying she's working for them, that she's not the mastermind? She's not the mastermind, Jonathan confirms. She's a grifter. A good one. But she's not smart enough to build an operation this big. She's been taking orders. Running their errands. Getting her cut in exchange for access to their networks. He points to one of the photos. This man. He's the one you really need to worry about. His name is Darnell Hayes. He's currently serving a sentence in a federal prison, but that hasn't stopped him from running his business from the inside. Chloe was his protege, his favorite, and he doesn't take kindly to losing his assets. Assets. That's what I was to Chloe. That's what all of us were. Assets. Commodities to be traded and discarded. Why are you telling me this, I ask. You're supposed to be on her side. Jonathan lets out a bitter laugh. I was on her side until I found out she was planning to pin everything on me. Her defense strategy was to claim I was the mastermind. That I forced her into it. That she was just a pawn. He runs a hand through his hair, wild-eyed. I spent the last 6 years building a career I was proud of. And she was going to burn it all down to save herself. So you're flipping on her. To save yourself. I'm telling you the truth, he says. Because the truth is the only thing that can save either of us. Darnell Hayes has people on the outside. People who want to make sure you don't testify. People who want to make sure this whole thing goes away quietly. People who don't care who gets hurt in the process. I look at Megan. Her face is pale. Her hand is gripping my arm. I can feel her trembling. How do I stop them, I ask. How do I protect myself? Jonathan pushes a business card across the table. It's not his card. It's a different name. A woman's name. This is a federal prosecutor. Special Crimes Division. She's been building a case against Hayes for 3 years. She's been waiting for someone like you to come forward. If you talk to her, she can protect you. Witness protection. New identity. New life. Everything. My first instinct is to laugh. Witness protection. New identity. It sounds like something out of a movie. But I look at Jonathan's face, and I don't see a joke. I see a man who's genuinely terrified that I'll think about it. I say, I need time. You don't have time, Jonathan says. They already know where you live. They already know where your mother lives. My mother is dead. I say the words cold and final that I know, Jonathan says. And that might be the only thing saving you right now. But your friends aren't protected. Your friends are targets. I feel the air leave my lungs. Megan, Sarah, Jenny, everyone I love, everyone I've ever cared about, they're all in danger because of me. Because I refuse to stay quiet. Because I refuse to be a victim. Leave them out of this. I say, my voice cracking. They don't know anything. They haven't done anything. They don't care, Jonathan says. They just want the evidence gone. They want you gone. And they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. He stands up. He looks at me one last time, his expression unreadable. I've done what I can. The rest is up to you. But if I were you, I'd call that number tonight. And I'd do it from a phone they can't trace. He walks out of the coffee shop and disappears into the crowd. I sit there, staring at the business card in my hand. Special Crimes Division. The name of the prosecutor. A phone number. A promise of safety. Megan is still gripping my arm. Mia, what are you going to do? I look at her. My best friend. The one person who believed me from the start. I can't let anything happen to her. I won't. I'm going to call. I say. I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect everyone I love. And then I'm going to make sure Chloe Sterling and everyone connected to her never hurts anyone again. I pick up my phone. I dial the number on the card. I wait as it rings. And rings. And rings. When the voice on the other end answers, I almost drop the phone. Hello, the voice is familiar. Too familiar. It's a voice I've heard in courtrooms and news reports and whispered warnings. It's the voice of the woman who prosecuted Darnell Hayes in the first place. The woman who put him behind bars. And she sounds terrified. Miss Chun, she says before I can identify myself. Don't speak. Just listen. They're onto you. They've been tracking this number for weeks. Get out of there. Get out of there now. I don't wait. I grab Megan's hand and pull her to her feet. We run out of the coffee shop. We run down the street. We run until my lungs burn and my legs ache, and I can't remember the last time I felt this alive. Behind me, I hear a car screech to a halt. I hear doors opening. I hear footsteps. I don't look back. I just keep running. We run until the street dissolves into a blur of neon signs and startled faces. Megan's hand is locked in mine, her nails digging into my skin, but I don't feel the pain. I don't feel anything except the primal scream of survival echoing in my skull. Behind us, the screech of tires. A door slamming. Footsteps, heavy and fast, closing the distance. Split up. I gasp, tugging her toward a narrow alley between a laundromat and a shuttered bodega. Find a crowd. Lose yourself. I'll meet you at. No. Megan yanks me back, her eyes wild. I'm not leaving you. We go together or we don't go at all. I don't have the breath to argue. We plunge into the alley, our shoes slapping against wet pavement. The smell of garbage and stale beer wraps around us like a shroud. A rusted fire escape looms above, and I grab the ladder without thinking, hauling myself up with a strength I didn't know I possessed. Megan follows, her sneakers squeaking on the metal rungs. We climb through a window on the second-floor landing, tumbling into what looks like a storage room filled with dusty mannequins and rolls of fabric. I press my back against the wall and force myself to breathe. Slow. Controlled. The footsteps pound past the alley entrance, then fade into the distance. I count to 60, then 90. Then the silence stretches long enough that I let myself believe we've lost them. What the hell was that? Megan whispers, her voice trembling. Who were those people? I don't answer. I'm too busy replaying the prosecutor's words in my head. They've been tracking this number for weeks. They've been watching. Waiting. They knew I was going to call. They knew I was going to expose everything. And they were ready. I fumble for my phone, my fingers clumsy with adrenaline. The screen is cracked from our escape. I don't care. I pull up the call history and stare at the number I just dialed. Special Crimes Division. The prosecutor who put Darnell Hayes behind bars. The woman who was supposed to save me. She sounded terrified. That's what sticks. The fear in her voice wasn't professional. It wasn't controlled. It was the raw, unfiltered panic of someone who knew exactly what was coming to Mia. Megan's hand lands on my arm. Talk to me. What's going on? I slide the phone back into my pocket. Chloe's boss. The man she was working for. He has people everywhere. He knew I was going to call a federal prosecutor. He knew before I did. That's impossible. How could he possibly know? I think about Jonathan Hart. The way he looked at me in the coffee shop. The way he slid that business card across the table, like he was passing a live grenade. The way he mentioned that they'd been tracking the number for weeks. Her lawyer. I say slowly. Jonathan. He set me up. He gave me that number knowing they'd be listening. He wasn't trying to help me. He was trying to bait me. To see if I'd take the bait and lead them straight to the prosecutor. Megan's face goes pale. But why would he do that? Because Chloe's not the only one who needs to save herself. Jonathan has his own secrets. His own ties to Hayes. If he can trade me for his freedom, he will. He already tried to flip on Chloe. Now he's trying to flip on everyone else. The pieces click into place with a sickening clarity. Jonathan Hart wasn't a reluctant ally. He was a spider, weaving a web so intricate I didn't even see the strands until I was caught in them. That I pull out my phone again. This time I don't call anyone. I open the cloud drive where I stored all the evidence. Every email. Every recording. Every photograph. I scroll to the file labeled Jonathan Hart and click it open. What I find makes my blood run cold. That there are documents dating back 3 years. Receipts for payments made to an offshore account. Emails between Jonathan and a shell company that traces back to Hayes' network. A signed affidavit from a former client, accusing Jonathan of coaching her to lie on the stand. And a single photograph, grainy and pixelated, of Jonathan shaking hands with Darnell Hayes at a charity gala. That he wasn't just Chloe's lawyer. He was her partner. Her co-conspirator. He'd been feeding her information from the inside, helping her stay one step ahead of the law. And now that she'd been caught, he was trying to cover his tracks by sacrificing me. Should have seen it, I mutter, staring at the screen. Should have known. He was too eager. Too willing to betray her. No one flips that fast unless they're protecting something bigger. What do we do? Megan asks. If they're tracking your phone, they know where we are. They'll find us. I look around the storage room. Dusty mannequins. Racks of vintage dresses. A door that leads to a dimly lit hallway. I don't know where we are, but it doesn't matter. Anywhere is better than staying still. First we get rid of my phone, I say. I pull the SIM card out and snap it in half. Then I drop the phone into a bin of fabric scraps. They can't track something that doesn't exist. Brilliant, Megan says. But what about my phone? They know I'm with you. She holds out her device. I hesitate for half a second, then take it and repeat the process. The The SIM card cracks. The phone lands in the bin. 2 clean breaks from the digital leash they've been holding. We need a new plan, I say. We can't go back to your apartment. We can't go anywhere they know about. Megan's face tightens. My mom's place. She's in Arizona for the winter. The house is empty. No one knows about it except me. Can we get there without being seen? She nods slowly. There's a bus stop 2 blocks from here. We take the local route, switch lines a few times, then walk the last mile. It's not elegant, but it works. I squeeze her hand. Then let's go. We slip out of the storage room and navigate the hallway until we find a back exit. The street is quiet when we emerge. No screeching tires. No pounding footsteps. Just the soft hum of a city winding down. We walk at a steady pace, trying not to look suspicious. We don't run. Running attracts attention. We're just 2 friends heading home after a long day. The bus is almost empty when we board. I slide into a seat near the back, pressing myself against the window. Megan sits beside me, her body rigid with tension. I watch the city scroll past in a blur of streetlights and shadows. Every car that passes makes my heart lurch. Every pedestrian with a phone to their ear makes me wonder if they're reporting our location. The first transfer goes smoothly. The second is when I see him. A man in a dark coat, standing at the back of the bus, his face half hidden by the brim of a hat. He's not looking at us. He's not doing anything obviously threatening. But something about the way he holds himself sends a shiver down my spine. I tap Megan's knee. Don't look. But there's a man at the back. Dark coat. Hat. He got on at the last stop. Megan's voice is barely a whisper. Is he following us? I don't know. But we're getting off at the next stop anyway. We disembark at a busy intersection, melting into a crowd of commuters. I don't look back. I don't need to. I can feel his gaze on the back of my neck like a physical weight. We weave through the pedestrians, ducking into a department store, then out through a service entrance. We cross the street twice. We walk through an alley that reeks of fish. By the time we emerge onto a residential street, the sensation of being watched has finally faded. Megan's mother's house is a modest bungalow on a quiet cul-de-sac. The porch light is off. The windows are dark. Megan fumbles with the key, her hands shaking so badly she drops it twice. I take it from her and unlock the door myself. That the interior is clean and cold. A faint smell of lavender. Framed photos on the walls. A cat-shaped clock ticking softly in the kitchen. It feels like stepping into another world. A world where none of this is happening. Megan locks the door behind us and slides the chain into place. Then she leans against it and exhales. We made it. We actually made it. I don't share her relief. I'm too busy thinking about what comes next. Jonathan's betrayal. The prosecutor's warning. The man on the bus. This isn't over. It's barely started. We need to reach out to someone, I say. Someone we can trust. Someone who isn't compromised. Who? Megan asks. The prosecutor is out. The lawyer is out. The cops are probably being watched too. Who's left? I think about it. The faces of everyone I've ever known. Friends. Family. Colleagues. Most of them are already in Chloe's orbit. Most of them have already been poisoned by her lies. But there's one person I haven't considered yet. One person who has no connection to Chloe, no connection to Hayes, and no reason to betray me. Elliot. I say. Megan's eyebrows shoot up. Your ex-boyfriend, the one you haven't spoken to in 3 years. He's a journalist, I say. He covered organized crime for 2 years. He knows people. He knows how to dig without being detected. And he has no ties to Chloe. She hated him. She made me break up with him because she thought he was a bad influence. Megan looks dubious. And you think he'll help you after you dumped him for her? I don't have an answer for that. I can't promise anything. But I know Elliot. I know the kind of man he is. He's stubborn. He's principled. He's the kind of person who doesn't let go of a story once he sinks his teeth into it. I need to find a phone, I say. A burner. Something they can't trace. There's a convenience store 2 blocks away, Megan says. They sell cheap prepaid phones. I'll go. No. I grab her wrist. We stay together. We do everything together. That's the only way we survive this. She holds my gaze for a long moment. Then she nods. Okay. Together. The convenience store is a fluorescent-lit box of desperation. Slurpee machines humming. Lottery tickets spinning in their racks. A clerk who looks like he hasn't slept in a week. I buy a burner phone and a bag of chips I don't want, just to make the transaction look natural. Megan buys a bottle of water and a pack of gum. We don't make eye contact. We don't speak. We just pay and leave. Back at the house, I power on the burner phone. The screen glows blue in the dim kitchen light. I type Elliot's number from memory, my fingers moving before my brain can second-guess them. It rings once, twice, 3 times. I'm about to hang up when his voice cuts through the line that hello, it's him. It's really him. 3 years of silence, and I still know the cadence of his voice. The slight rasp at the edges. The way he draws out the last syllable of every word that Elliot, I say. It's Mia. I know this is out of nowhere. I know I have no right to ask you for anything. But I need your help. And I need you to listen without asking questions. The line is silent for a beat. Then Mia. Jesus. I thought you were dead. Chloe told everyone you'd moved to another country. Chloe lied. The words come out sharper than I intended. Chloe has been lying about everything. And right now, she and the people she works for are trying to kill me. Another beat of silence. I can hear him breathing, processing. Then his voice changes. Harder, sharper. The voice of the journalist who once exposed a corrupt mayor and survived a death threat for his trouble. Where are you? Are you safe? I'm with Megan. We're in a safe place. But it won't stay safe for long. Don't tell me where, he says. Not over the phone. I'll come to you. Just give me a meeting point. Public. Crowded. Somewhere you can lose a tail. I think about it. A place where we could blend in. A place where no one would look twice at 2 people having a conversation. The museum, I say. The Natural History Museum. The dinosaur exhibit. Tomorrow at noon. I'll be there. A pause. Mia. I'm sorry. For everything. I should have seen what she was doing. I should have protected you. I close my eyes. The words hit somewhere deep, somewhere I've been trying to protect. You didn't know. None of us knew. That's the point. We hang up. I stare at the burner phone in my hand and wonder if I've just made the biggest mistake of my life. Elliot is a good man. He's a smart man. But he's also reckless. Passionate. The kind of person who charges into danger without a plan and figures things out on the fly. That's what made him a great journalist. It's also what got him beaten up twice and shot at once. But he's all I have. And right now, all I have is all I need. Megan is watching me from the kitchen doorway. Her arms are crossed. Her expression is unreadable. Are you sure about this about him? I'm sure about nothing, I say. But I know I can't do this alone. And he's the only person I trust who's still outside Chloe's reach. She walks over and sits beside me. The cat-shaped clock ticks in the silence. I can hear the soft hum of the refrigerator and the distant wail of a siren somewhere in the city. What happens after we meet him? Megan asks. What happens after you tell him everything? I don't answer. Because I don't know. I've been running on instinct since I woke up this morning. Since I remembered everything. Since I realized I'd been given a second chance. I've been so focused on survival that I haven't thought about what comes after. I want to destroy her, I say finally. I want to destroy all of them. Chloe, Jonathan, Hayes, everyone who ever profited from hurting innocent people. I want to take everything they have and leave them with nothing. Megan looks at me. There's something in her eyes I haven't seen before. Not just support. Not just loyalty. Respect. Then we do it together, she says. All of us. You, me, Elliot, anyone who's willing to stand with us. We build a case so airtight that they can't escape. We expose them to the world. And we make sure they never, ever get the chance to do this to anyone else. I feel the weight of her words settle on my shoulders. But unlike the old weight, the one Chloe put there, this one doesn't crush me. It grounds me. It anchors me to something real. I think about my mother. I think about the voicemail I left her. I think about the life I could have had if I'd been stronger. If I'd seen through Chloe's lies sooner. But dwelling on the past won't change anything. The only thing I can change is the future. My future. Megan's future. The future of every woman who ever trusted Chloe and got burned. I pick up the burner phone and scroll through the contacts. There's only one number saved. Elliot's. But I don't call it. Instead, I open a new note and start typing. A list. Names. Dates. Locations. Every piece of evidence I've gathered in this life and the one before. Everything I remember about Chloe's network. Everything Jonathan's betrayal revealed. Everything I know about Darnell Hayes and his empire. I keep typing until my fingers ache. Until the sky outside starts to lighten. Until the cat-shaped clock strikes 5 in the morning. Megan is asleep on the couch, her face peaceful in a way it hasn't been since this nightmare began. I watch her breathe and feel a surge of love so fierce it nearly knocks me over. She didn't have to stay. She didn't have to believe me. She could have walked away at any point and saved herself. But she didn't. She stayed. She believed. She fought. I'm not going to let her sacrifice be for nothing. I finish the list and upload it to a new cloud drive. This one, I protect with 3 layers of encryption. Passwords that even the smartest hacker couldn't crack. Then I send the link to Elliot's encrypted email address. I don't write a message. I don't need to. He'll know what to do. When the sun finally rises over the city, I'm ready. I've made my peace with the past. I've faced my fears. I've accepted that I might not survive this. But I'm not going down without a fight. I'm not going to let Chloe win. I'm not going to let Hayes and his network destroy anyone else. I wake Megan with a gentle shake. It's time, I say. We have a meeting to get to. She blinks sleep from her eyes. For a moment, she looks confused. Then everything comes rushing back, and she sits up with a jolt. Is it noon already? Almost. We need to leave now. We need to be early. We need to scout the area and make sure no one's watching. She nods. She doesn't ask questions. She just gets up and follows me to the door. The walk to the museum is long and cold. The city is waking up around us. Coffee shops opening their doors. Commuters rushing to catch trains. Street vendors setting up their carts. It all feels so normal. So mundane. It's hard to believe that somewhere out there, people are hunting for me. That somewhere out there, Chloe is sitting in a jail cell, plotting her next move. The museum is a massive building of marble and glass. The dinosaur exhibit is on the 3rd floor. I choose it because it's a tourist hotspot, crowded with families and school groups. The kind of place where 2 people can have a conversation without anyone noticing. Elliot is already there when we arrive. He's standing in front of a massive T-Rex skeleton, pretending to study the placard. He looks older than I remember. More tired. But his eyes are the same. Sharp. Observant. The kind of eyes that miss nothing. He doesn't turn when I approach. He just speaks in a low voice, his lips barely moving. You're being followed. Don't look. Just keep walking. My blood runs cold. How many? 2? Maybe 3. They're good. But I've been doing this longer. He turns slightly, just enough to meet my eyes. We need to lose them before we talk. Follow my lead. He walks toward the exit. Megan and I follow without a word. We move through the museum, weaving through displays and crowds, until we reach a service stairwell. Elliot pushes open a door that says, "Employees only," and holds it for us. Through here, he says. There's a maintenance tunnel that leads to the parking garage. We'll lose them in the chaos. We follow him into the darkness. The tunnel is narrow and damp. The only light comes from a single bulb flickering overhead. I can hear the echoes of our footsteps and the distant rumble of the city above. That when we reach the parking garage, Elliot leads us to a beat-up sedan. Get in. And stay down. We crouch in the back seat as he starts the engine. He drives slowly at first, then faster, merging onto the freeway with practiced ease. I watch through the window as the museum recedes into the distance. The people following us don't appear. We've lost them. Okay, Elliot says, glancing in the rearview mirror. Start talking. What's going on, and don't leave anything out. I take a deep breath. And I start from the beginning. The conference room. The contract. The memory of my previous life. The revelation of Chloe's lies. The connection to Hayes. Jonathan's betrayal. The prosecutor's warning. Everything. Elliot listens without interrupting. His expression is unreadable. When I finally finish, he doesn't speak for a long moment. Then he says, "I'm going to publish everything. The evidence. The photos. The connections. I'm going to blow this story wide open." "The prosecutor said it's too dangerous," I say. "She said Hayes has people everywhere." "He does," Elliot says. "Which is exactly why we need to go public. If the story is out there, if everyone knows what he's done, he can't hurt us. He can't hurt anyone. Because the spotlight will be on him. And people like Hayes, they thrive in the shadows. They can't survive in the light." I think about his words. The logic is sound. Brutal. But sound. Okay, I say. Then we do it. We go public. We tell the world the truth. Elliot smiles. It's the first real smile I've seen since this all started. "I knew you'd say that. That's why I've been working on the story for 3 years." I stare at him. 3 years? You've been investigating this for 3 years. "I knew there was something wrong with Chloe," he says. "I just didn't know how deep it went. When I heard she'd been arrested, I started digging. And what I found, let's just say the real estate scam is just the tip of the iceberg." The car falls silent. I look at Megan. She looks at me. And we both know this is only the beginning. Elliot's apartment is a disaster zone of paperwork. Stacks of files cover every surface. Old coffee mugs sit like monuments on the windowsill. A whiteboard dominates one wall, covered in a web of names and dates and connections that makes my head spin. He doesn't apologize for the mess. He just clears a space on the couch and gestures for us to sit. "I've been building this for 3 years, he says, pulling a folder from the tallest stack. "Chloe was just the gateway. The real prize is the network behind her. Hayes is the kingpin, but he's got lieutenants in every major city. Lawyers, accountants, real estate developers. A whole infrastructure designed to fleece vulnerable people and launder the proceeds." He spreads documents across the coffee table. Photographs, bank statements, wire transfer records, a handwritten ledger that looks like it was stolen from a mob movie. "This is from a source inside Hayes's operation," Elliot explains. "He got cold feet when Hayes started targeting families with terminally ill children. Said it crossed a line. He copied everything before he disappeared." Megan leans forward, her eyes scanning the ledger. "These numbers, they're huge. Millions of dollars moving through shell companies. Shell companies that trace back to offshore accounts," Elliot says. "Accounts that Chloe had access to. Accounts that she was supposed to be managing. But she got greedy. She started skimming. That's why Hayes is so angry. It's not just that she got caught. It's that she stole from him." I pick up one of the photographs. It shows Chloe at a party, laughing with a man I don't recognize. Behind them, a painting that looks suspiciously like a Monet. She had good taste, I mutter, dropping the photo back onto the pile. "I'll give her that." Elliot looks at me. His expression is unreadable. "You're taking this remarkably well. Most people would be falling apart." "I already fell apart," I say. "I did it in another life. Now I'm just focused on making sure she never does this to anyone else." He doesn't question the weirdness of my phrasing. He just nods and turns back to his documents. "I need you to go through everything. Every email. Every recording. Every piece of evidence you've gathered. I need to see the full picture before I start writing." The next few hours blur together. We spread out across the apartment, each of us tackling a different stack of papers. Megan works through the bank records, highlighting suspicious transactions. Elliot cross-references the names with public records. I scroll through my cloud drive, pulling up every scrap of evidence I've collected since I woke up in that conference room. It's overwhelming. The scope of it. The sheer audacity. These people weren't just criminals. They were predators. They targeted the desperate, the grieving, the lonely. People like me. People who trusted the wrong person at the worst possible moment. I find a folder labeled Victims and open it. Inside are files on dozens of women. Names. Photographs. Financial histories. Each one a testament to the destruction Chloe and her network left in their wake. I recognize some of them. Friends of friends. Acquaintances from college. Women I'd lost touch with and wondered about. One name catches my eye. Sarakimu. A woman I used to work with. She left the company abruptly 2 years ago. I'd heard she moved to another state. According to the file, she lost everything. Her savings. Her apartment. Her engagement ring. She'd been planning a wedding, saving for a house, dreaming of a future that was stolen from her. I closed the folder. My hands are shaking. We need to go public. Now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Elliot looks up. I agree. But we need to be strategic. If we publish too soon, Hayes's lawyers will bury us in injunctions. We need to release it all at once. Make it impossible to contain. How long will that take? 48 hours. Maybe less if we can pull an all-nighter. I look at Megan. She's exhausted. I'm exhausted. But there's a fire in her eyes that matches my own. Then we work through the night. I say. We don't stop until it's done. Elliot's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen and frowns. It's a contact. Someone who's been feeding me information on Hayes. He only calls when he has something urgent. He answers the call and listens for a long moment. His face goes pale. When are you sure? Okay. Okay. I'll handle it. He hangs up and looks at us. Hayes's people are moving. They've got a list of witnesses. Anyone who might testify against Chloe or Hayes. They're planning to eliminate them. Eliminate, Megan's voice cracks. Like kill them. That's the word my source used. They've already started. A woman in Chicago was found dead this morning. Suspected overdose. She was one of Chloe's former clients. I feel the world tilt. A woman in Chicago. Dead. Because of me. Because I started this chain reaction by refusing to sign that contract. This is my fault, I say. If I hadn't. No. Elliot cuts me off. This is not your fault. This is the fault of the people who killed her. And we're going to stop them. But we need to move fast. If they're already targeting witnesses, they'll be coming for us too. I stand up. The dizziness passes, replaced by a cold, clear determination. Then we take the fight to them. We don't wait for them to come to us. We expose everything. Every name. Every date. Every transaction. We make it so public that even Hayes's connections can't protect him. Elliot is already on his laptop, his fingers flying across the keyboard. I'm drafting the article now. But I need your help. I need you to go through the evidence one more time. Make sure there are no gaps. No loose ends. Megan and I dive back into the files. The next few hours are a blur of cross-referencing and fact-checking. We find inconsistencies in the bank records. Missing dates that Elliot's source overlooked. We find connections to people I never expected. A senatore said. A hedge fund manager. A tech CEO who built his empire on stolen money. These people are everywhere, Megan says, her voice hollow. They're in every industry. Every level of government. How do we possibly fight them? We fight them with the truth, Elliot says. That's the one thing they can't buy or bury. The truth, out in the open, for everyone to see. The article takes shape as the night wears on. Elliot is a machine, typing with a speed and precision that leaves me breathless. He doesn't pause. Doesn't eat. Doesn't even look up from the screen. He's possessed by the story. Driven by a mission that goes beyond professional pride. By dawn, the first draft is complete. Elliot reads it aloud, his voice steady but charged with emotion. When he finishes, the apartment falls silent. Even the ticking of the clock seems to hold its breath. It's perfect, I say. Publish it. Elliot shakes his head. Not yet. I need to get it vetted. Fact-checked. Protected against legal challenges. There are lawyers out there who would love to sue me into bankruptcy for publishing something like this without proper verification. How long? 6 hours. Maybe 8. I have a contact at the paper. He's the best editor in the business. He'll work with me to make sure everything is airtight. I want to argue. Every fiber of my being is screaming to hit publish, and let the chips fall where they may. But Elliot is right. If we rush this, we risk losing everything. We need to be patient. Meticulous. Unassailable. Okay, I say. But I'm not sitting here twiddling my thumbs while we wait. I'm going to reach out to the victims. The ones whose stories you included. I'm going to ask them if they're willing to go on the record. Elliot looks at me. There's something new in his eyes. Respect. Maybe something more. That's dangerous. If Hayes's people are targeting witnesses, you could lead them straight to these women. I'll be careful. I'll use the burner phone. I won't say anything incriminating. I just need to know they're on board. I need to know they're ready to fight. He hesitates. Then he nods. Do it. But take Megan with you. And don't go anywhere alone. The first call I make is to Sarah Kim. Her number is in the victim file, buried under a dozen other documents. She answers on the second ring, her voice guarded. Who is this? Sarah, my name is Mia Chin. I used to work with you at the advertising agency. We had lunch together a few times before you left. There's a long pause. I can hear her breathing, shallow and quick. I remember you. You were friends with Chloe, right? I used to be. Not anymore. I know what she did to you. I know what she took. And I'm calling to ask if you're willing to help me stop her. And the people behind her. Another pause. Then a sound I don't expect. A sob barely contained. I've been waiting for someone to call me. For 2 years. I've been waiting for someone to believe me. I believe you, I say. And I'm going to make sure everyone else believes you too. We talk for an hour. She tells me everything. The promises Chloe made. The pressure to invest. The way Chloe vanished the moment the money was gone. The months of shame and silence. The therapy. The medication. The slow, painful process of rebuilding her life. She agrees to go on the record. She agrees to testify. She agrees to do whatever it takes to bring Chloe and Hayes to justice. That I hang up and stare at the phone. My hand is shaking. But not from fear. From something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope that the next call is to a woman named Rebecca. Then another named Priya. Then another named Angela. Each one tells a similar story. Each one lost everything. Each one is still struggling to pick up the pieces. And each one agrees to speak out by the time I'm done. I've spoken to 12 women. 12 survivors. 12 voices that are going to echo in the courtroom. And in the pages of Elliot's article. Elliot's contact calls back at midday. The article is vetted. The legal review is complete. It's ready to publish. Are you sure about this? Elliot asks, his hand hovering over the keyboard. Once we hit send, there's no going back. I think about my mother. I think about the voicemail I left her. I think about Sarah and Rebecca and Priya and Angela. I think about the woman in Chicago, the one who didn't survive long enough to see justice done. I'm sure. I say. Do it. He hits send. The internet explodes. Within minutes, the article is trending. Within hours, every major news outlet is covering the story. Hayes's name is splashed across headlines. His network is exposed. His shell companies are being investigated. His connections in government are scrambling to distance themselves. Chloe's mugshot goes viral. The photos from Jonathan's folder leaked to the press. The recordings I made in the conference room are played on every station. The public outcry is deafening. And then the calls start. I'm sitting in Elliot's apartment, scrolling through the coverage on my burner phone when the first one comes in. Unknown number. I almost don't answer. But something tells me I need to. Mia. It's a woman's voice. Familiar, but I can't place it. My name is Gina. I'm a producer at Channel 7. I saw your name in the article. I need to talk to you. It's urgent. What about Chloe? She's trying to contact you. She's been calling the station, begging for airtime. She wants to tell her side of the story. She's offering an exclusive interview in exchange for protection. I feel the air leave my lungs. Protection from who? From Hayes. She's scared. She says he's going to kill her. She says she'll tell us everything if we keep her safe. I look at Elliot. He's already on his feet, reaching for his jacket. Don't do it, he mouths. It's a trap. But I think about Sarah. I think about Rebecca. I think about the woman in Chicago. I think about all the people Chloe has hurt. And I know I can't let her manipulate the narrative one more time. Tell her I'll meet with her. I say. Tell her I'll listen. But the meeting happens on my terms. Public place. No lawyers. No cameras. Just me and her. Gina is silent for a moment. Then she agreed. She said she'll meet you at the Botanical Gardens tomorrow at sunset. She said to come alone. I hang up. Elliot is staring at me like I've lost my mind. You're not seriously going to meet her alone, he says. I have to. She won't talk to anyone else. And I need to know what she knows. Hayes is still out there. His network is still operating. If Chloe can give us the information we need to take them down, it's worth the risk. The risk is insane. She's desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. I reach out and take his hand. His grip is warm and solid. I know. But I'm desperate too. And I've been running for too long. It's time to stop running. It's time to face her. He doesn't argue. He just squeezes my hand and nods that the botanical gardens are beautiful at sunset. Golden light filters through the leaves. The air smells like roses and damp earth. I choose a bench near the fountain, where I can see every entrance and exit. I'm not alone. Elliot is hidden in the crowd, watching. Megan is stationed at the north gate with a phone ready to call for backup. Chloe arrives exactly on time. She looks different. Thinner. Paler. The designer clothes are gone, replaced by a simple dress that hangs loosely on her frame. Her hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. No jewelry. She looks like a ghost of the woman I used to know. She sits on the bench across from me. She doesn't speak for a long moment. She just stares at the fountain. Her face unreadable. You won, she finally says. Congratulations. You destroyed me. I don't respond. I just wait. I know you think I'm a monster, she continues. And maybe I am. But I wasn't always like this. I was just trying to survive. Just like everyone else. Don't, I say, my voice sharp. Don't pretend you were a victim. You had choices. You chose to hurt people. She looks at me then. Really looks at me. You're right. I did. And I'm sorry. I know that doesn't matter. I know it doesn't change anything. But I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring back the money. Sorry doesn't fix the lives you destroyed. Sorry doesn't bring back the woman in Chicago. Chloe flinches. I didn't know about that. I swear. Hayes operates on a need-to-know basis. I didn't know he was going to kill anyone. But you knew he was capable of it. You knew what kind of man you were working for. And you went along with it anyway. She looks away. A tear slides down her cheek. I was scared. If I'd said no, he would have killed me too. He would have killed my family. I had no choice. Everyone has a choice. You just made the wrong ones. We sit in silence. The fountain burbles. The birds chirp. It's almost peaceful. I'll testify, Chloe says. I'll tell them everything. Hayes. Jonathan. The shell companies. The money laundering. Everything. I'll do it if you promise to protect my mother. She doesn't know anything about what I did. She's innocent. And Hayes knows where she lives. I look at her. For a moment, I see a flicker of the friend I used to know. The one who laughed at my jokes. The one who held my hand when my mother died. The one who made me feel like I wasn't alone. But that friend was a lie. And this woman in front of me is still trying to manipulate me. Even now. Even when she's lost everything. I'll make sure your mother is protected. I say. But only because she's innocent. Not because you asked me to. Chloe nods. She stands up to leave. Chloe. I say her name and she pauses. Why did you do it? Why did you target me out of all the people you could have chosen? Why me? She turns back. Her expression is haunted. Because you trusted me. Because you believed in me. And I hated you for it. I hated that you were so good. So pure. So full of hope. I wanted to destroy that hope. Because I'd already destroyed my own. She walks away, disappearing into the gathering darkness. I watch her go and I feel nothing. No hatred. No pity. Just a quiet, profound emptiness. That I walk back to Elliot's car in silence. Megan is waiting, her face a question mark. What happened? Did she tell you anything? Everything, I say. She told me everything. Elliot starts the engine. What are you going to do now? I look out the window. The city is glittering in the distance. Thousands of lights. Thousands of lives. Thousands of stories, some of them broken, some of them healing. I'm going to finish what I started, I say. I'm going to make sure Hayes and everyone connected to him pays for what they did. And then I'm going to live my life. My real life. The one I was always meant to have. It's not a happy ending. Not yet. But it's a beginning. And that's enough. The courthouse steps are a gauntlet of cameras and microphones. I walk through them with my head high, Megan on one side, Elliot on the other. The reporters shout questions I don't answer. The flashing lights blind me. But I keep moving, one foot in front of the other, until I reach the heavy oak doors and the safety of the marble hallway beyond. Inside, the air is cool and still. The echo of our footsteps bounces off the high ceilings. A bailiff leads us to a small waiting room, where Chloe is already sitting, her hands cuffed to a chain at her waist. She looks smaller than she did at the gardens. More fragile. She doesn't meet my eyes. Mia. It's Detective Park, approaching with a folder tucked under her arm. I need to go over a few things with you before you take the stand. They're going to try to discredit you, attack your credibility, make you look like a scorned woman seeking revenge. I'm ready, I say. I've been ready my whole life. She hands me a copy of the witness statement I gave months ago. I skim it, refreshing my memory. The dates. The names. The sequence of events that led to this moment. It feels like reading someone else's story. Someone else's life. You did good work, Park says quietly. The evidence you gathered was the backbone of this case. Without you, Chloe Sterling would have walked. Martin Sterling would have fled the country. And Darnell Hayes would still be running his empire from a prison cell. I look at her. Speaking of Hayes, is he going to be here? Park's expression tightens. He's been denied attendance. The prison where he's held is under lockdown. We received credible threats that someone inside was planning to harm him. He's safe, but he won't be testifying in person. The prosecution will read his deposition into the record. I nod. That's probably for the best. I don't think I could look him in the eye without screaming that the courtroom is packed when we enter. Every seat is filled. Journalists in the back row. Chloe's family in the front, her mother weeping silently into a handkerchief. A row of women I've never met but recognize from the victim files. Sarah's there. Rebecca. Priya. Angela. They look at me as I pass, their eyes full of something I can't name. Hope maybe. Or gratitude. Or just the desperate need to see justice done. Chloe is already at the defense table, flanked by her new lawyer. Jonathan Hart is nowhere to be seen. He's in custody now, awaiting his own trial. His betrayal of Chloe bought him nothing. He's still going to prison. He's still going to rot. The prosecution opens with a statement that feels like a thunderclap. They lay out the case in excruciating detail. The fraud. The identity theft. The connection to Hayes. The trail of ruined lives stretching back years. They call witness after witness. Bankers. Accountants. Former clients. Each one adds another brick to the wall of evidence. And then they call me. I walk to the stand with steady legs. I raise my hand and swear to tell the truth. The prosecutor approaches me with a gentle smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Miss Chun, can you tell the court how you first met the defendant? I take a breath. And I tell the story. The coffee shop where we became friends. The years of shared secrets and inside jokes. The way she made me feel seen and understood. The way she made me trust her. Did you ever suspect that she had ulterior motives? The prosecutor asks. No, I say. I trusted her completely. I thought she was my best friend. And what changed? I look at Chloe. She's staring at the table, her shoulders hunched. I remember the conference room. The pen in my hand. The moment I chose to refuse. I remembered. I say. Everything. The way she talked about the investment. The pressure she put on me. The way she disappeared when I needed her most. I realized I'd been blind. But I wasn't going to be blind anymore. The defense attorney stands. He's a bulldog of a man, with a thick neck and a voice that booms across the courtroom. Miss Chun, isn't it true that you were jealous of the defendant's success? No. Isn't it true that you made up these allegations because you were angry that she was moving on without you? No. And isn't it true that you've been diagnosed with a mental health condition that causes you to have delusions? I feel my jaw tighten. They're going to do it. Just like Jonathan threatened. They're going to tear me apart. I've been diagnosed with depression. I say calmly. I sought treatment after my mother died. My doctor will confirm that I'm stable, and that my testimony is not the product of delusion. The defense attorney doesn't flinch. But you did have a breakdown, didn't you? A period where you couldn't distinguish reality from fantasy. I think about my previous life. The memories I carried back with me. The knowledge of a timeline that no one else remembers. If I tell them the truth, they'll lock me up. But I don't need to tell them the truth. I just need to tell them what happened. I had a moment of clarity, I say. I realized my friend was using me. I realized I'd been manipulated. And I decided to fight back. That's not a breakdown. That's survival. The courtroom buzzes. The judge bangs his gavel. The defense attorney backs off, but I can see the frustration in his eyes. He knows he can't break me. He knows I'm not going to crack. The rest of the trial is a blur. More witnesses. More evidence. More testimony. Chloe takes the stand in her own defense. She cries. She apologizes. She tells the court she was coerced, that Hayes threatened her family, that she had no choice. But the evidence is overwhelming. The jury doesn't believe her when the verdict comes down. I'm sitting in the gallery with Megan's hand in mine. The foreman stands and reads the words I've been waiting to hear. On the count of fraud in the first degree, guilty. On the count of identity theft, guilty. On the count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, guilty. Chloe's face crumples. Her mother wails. The courtroom erupts in a cacophony of gasps and murmurs. The judge bangs his gavel again and again, but the noise doesn't stop. I don't celebrate. I don't cheer. I just sit there watching Chloe being led away in handcuffs and feel a profound sense of release. The sentencing is scheduled for a month later. In the meantime, I try to rebuild my life. I move out of Megan's apartment and into a small place of my own. I start looking for a job. I rekindle old friendships and make new ones. I go to therapy not because I need to, but because I want to process everything that's happened. Elliot is a constant presence. He's still working on the story, still digging into Hayes's network, still determined to expose every last corner of the conspiracy. We spend long nights in his apartment, hunched over documents and laptops. We don't talk about the future. We don't talk about us. We just worked up. But one night, after the article wins a major journalism award, he looks at me across the cluttered table and says, "What happens when this is over?" I think about it. What happens when Hayes is finally brought to justice? What happens when the last of Chloe's victims receive their restitution? What happens when I'm no longer defined by my past? I don't know, I say. I guess I figure it out. One day at a time. He reaches across the table and takes my hand. You don't have to figure it out alone. Not anymore. I look at him. 3 years ago, I let Chloe convince me to push him away. 3 years ago, I believed her lies about him being a bad influence. 3 years ago, I made the worst decision of my life. But I'm not that person anymore. I'm not the person who lets fear dictate her choices. I'm not the person who sacrifices her happiness for the approval of others. Okay, I say. Together. The sentencing hearing is the last time I see Chloe. She's brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit, her hands shackled, her hair matted and unwashed. She looks like she hasn't slept in weeks. She looks like a ghost. The judge delivers a sentence that echoes through the courtroom. 25 years to life. No possibility of parole. The maximum allowed by law. Chloe's mother sobs. Chloe herself stands there, her face blank, her eyes fixed on some point in the distance. She doesn't look at me. She doesn't look at anyone. As they lead her away, she pauses at the door. She turns her head just slightly and meets my eyes. For a moment I see a flicker of something. Regret. Remorse. Or maybe just recognition. She mouths 2 words, "I'm sorry." Then she's gone. I stand outside the courthouse, the cold wind whipping through my hair. The reporters have moved on to other stories. The crowds have dispersed. It's just me and Megan and Elliot, standing on the steps like survivors of a shipwreck. "It's over," Megan says. "It's finally over." I look at the sky. Gray and overcast, the way it always is in this city. But I don't feel gray. I feel bright. Clear. The way I felt the first time I walked out of that conference room, and into my second chance. Not really, I say. Hayes is still out there. His network is still operating. And there are other women out there, women like Sarah and Rebecca, who haven't gotten justice yet. This isn't over. It's just beginning. Elliot smiles. I knew you were going to say that. Then you know what we have to do next. He nods. We keep fighting. We keep exposing the truth. We keep helping the people who need us. Megan links her arm through mine. And we do it together. I look at the two of them. My best friend. My partner. The people who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. The people who helped me find my way back from the darkness. Together. I say that we walk down the steps and into the street. The city stretches out before us, full of possibilities. Full of challenges. Full of life. That I think about my mother. I think about the voicemail I left her. I think about the message I left on the phone that no one will ever hear. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to do better. I'm going to live. And I do that. I lived. The months that follow are a testament to the power of second chances. I land a job at a nonprofit that helps fraud victims navigate the legal system. I use my experience to guide other women through the same nightmare I survived. I tell my story in interviews and at conferences. I don't hide from my past. I own it. Elliot and I get married in a small ceremony in the botanical gardens. Megan is my maid of honor. Sarah, Rebecca, Priya, and Angela are all in attendance. The flowers are white roses, my mother's favorite. When Elliot says his vows, I see tears in his eyes. I promise to always believe you, he says. I promise to always fight for you. I promise to never let anyone make you feel small again. I promise the same. Because that's what love is. Fighting for each other. Believing in each other. Choosing each other over and over again. Hayes is eventually convicted on federal charges. His sentence is life without parole. The testimony we gathered, the evidence we compiled, the stories we told, they made the case unassailable. He'll never hurt anyone again. Chloe writes me a letter from prison. I don't open it. I don't need to. I've already forgiven her, not for her sake, but for mine. Holding on to the anger was like swallowing poison, and expecting her to die. I'm done being poisoned. I'm done being a victim. I'm done being afraid. I'm done letting the past define me. I'm Mia-chan. I survived. I thrived. And I'm just getting started. The years pass. The scars fade. But the lessons remain. Trust yourself. Trust the people who prove they're worth it. And never, ever sign anything without reading the fine print. I think about the woman I used to be. The one who sat in that conference room with a pen in her hand and tears in her eyes. The one who believed a lie because she wanted so badly to believe in something. The one who thought she was worthless. I'm not that woman anymore. I'm someone stronger, wiser, kinder. Someone who knows her own worth. I look out the window of my new office, watching the city hum below. The sun is setting, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. It's everything I ever wanted. My phone buzzes. A message from Elliot. Dinner tonight, your choice. I smile and type back. Chinese. The place we went on our first date. His reply is immediate. Perfect. I'll pick you up at 7. I set down my phone and turn back to my work. There's a new file on my desk. A new client. A new woman who trusted the wrong person and lost everything. She's scared. She's broken. She doesn't know how to go on. I know that feeling. I've been there. But I also know that it gets better. It gets easier. You find your way back. That I pick up my pen and start to write. Not a contract. Not a confession. A letter. A letter to a woman I've never met, telling her she's not alone. Telling her she's going to be okay. Telling her she's stronger than she knows. Outside, the city lights flicker on. One by one, they pierce the darkness, creating a tapestry of hope and resilience. I look at my reflection in the window. I see a woman who's been through hell and come out the other side. A woman who's learned to trust herself. A woman who's ready for whatever comes next. And I smile. A real smile. A smile that reaches my eyes and fills my heart. This isn't the end of my story. It's just the beginning.